Hello, family. This is Mama Lena coming to you again, and this time I'm going to talk to my young sisters. Me being an older woman that has awakened to this truth, I thought that I would get a little more in my lane and maybe give some soft, I don't want to say advice, but some soft reasoning according to the way I feel as far as how you should conduct yourself if you are a young married woman or a young woman who is in a serious relationship, serious as if you're going to be married to your man. Um, the first thing I'd like to let you know is my advice may not fit you, and I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do. I'm just giving you knowledge of my many years and having been in two successful relationships. My first husband passed away, and my current marriage is very divine. Um, so, first of all, I'd like to let you young ladies know that the first thing you've got to remember is before you choose a man, there are some key points that you should be very aware of. Hopefully, he's a young man that's awake in the knowledge of the Bible, the true knowledge, and who he is, and how he's going to conduct himself as a mate, and how his children are going to be raised. So, how do you do that? One of the things that I found is a telltale sign whether you have the makings of a great man is to try to meet his family. Hopefully, he has a mother and a strong father who have been married for many, many years. You want to make sure that his father treats his mother properly. Might want to talk to his mother, and you can just observe to see how he treats you, if he respects you as a human being, um, and if he honors you as someone separate than himself. Uh, you want to make sure he's not going to be so over controlling that you can't develop yourself and do things you need to do. Another thing I would like to tell you from my experience is if you do have a man, whether he makes six figures a year or only 10,000 a year, money doesn't really matter that much. If you are a very materialistic person and you're going to be with a guy that makes a lot of money, you've got to make sure that he is going to allow you to develop yourself and your own interests without interference. If he loves you, he wants you to grow. He will want you to grow as an individual, because none of us are going to live forever. And if something ever happened to him, you want to make sure that you will be able to um, support yourself or have something else to fall back on. So I would encourage you to also pursue your own interests and don't rely on your man for your complete happiness. You've got to have a life outside of him. You've got to have your own interest outside of him, and your own development outside of him. Now, once you're a married woman, it's important that uh, those same facts apply. But you also want to make sure that if you are not working and your husband is working once you're married, you want to make sure that you're going to cater to his needs to ensure that he can succeed at work. What I mean by that is if he has to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning, then you should probably be up at 4:30 to make him breakfast and a lunch. Not only will that show him that, when you're at home, you're taking care of him, but also that he can count on you, because believe me, when he goes to work, he's fighting the world. Working a job Even though it may be an easy job, trust me, he has to deal with people on the job, and it can be hell. So he, is not going to be treated like a king on his job. He's going to have to put up with all manner of bullshit to succeed in that job. So if you can be a soft place for him to come home to, a soft place to lay his head, that's going to help him endure work that work environment. And if he's an Israelite man, I can guarantee you he's going to catch hell on that job from every angle. So you have to remember, if you can be a soft place to fall when he comes home, he will greatly appreciate it, even though he may not say it. Men are not like women. They don't always tell you how they appreciate you. But if he comes home every night from work, he does appreciate you. Try to have, some kind of snack or meal cooked when he comes home. That would be the best. And of course, keeping a clean house, whether you have a man or not, is very important. To be sanitary and have things picked up clutter free makes your life uncluttered and easy for everyone. When he comes home, he has a nice place to sit down. Oh yeah, another thing, when he gets home from work is stressful. Just having to do the everyday fight. I know that you're home all day by yourself. You might be dealing with the kids all day. When he comes in the door, give him a few minutes to unwind. You don't want to meet him at the door with all your problems and challenges you've had during the day, especially if you're not working yourself. Let him come in, let him take off his clothes. If he takes a shower after work, let him get a shower and ask him if he's hungry, and give him, an hour to relax and unwind from his stressful day. His day may not be stressful in the way you think, but it's stressful just having to be at work and be able to keep the job, thinking that he's got to get up in the morning and do this all again for the full week can be stressful. So when he gets home from work, you know, give him a kiss, maybe offer him a snack, let him sit down, take off his shoes, take off his clothes, take a shower before you say anything else to him. Just let him come in. If he wants to talk, then engage. So maybe after you've eaten dinner or something, then you can softly ask him, how was your day? Is everything okay? And then, get into your daily, talk about your daily routine. That's just common sense, because I know I work, and I know when I come home, all I want to do is take off my shoes. I might want to eat, and I just want to watch the news, or I don't want nobody talking to me. And he's the same way. But with him being an Israelite man, believe me, he's got it 10 times worse than you. So those are some things to remember. There's another subject that I want to talk about while we're talking and get into. And that is, if you live in a communal situation, talk about fidelity. Fidelity. Okay, men are very strange animals. If you go back to biblical days, it was not uncommon for a man to have a concubine, which means many wives. Here in America, in this day and age, it's a taboo. It's not recognized, it's not legal, but it's a man has a nature that is promiscuous. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing that I found out. All men are not cheaters. A cheater is a man that has it in him to cheat. Okay? All men don't cheat. But some men just have it in them to do that. Okay? Now, if you find your husband cheating, you can deal with it the way you want. I believe the Bible says infidelity is a reason to divorce your husband. But you have to weigh that for yourself. I'll just be honest with you. I had a husband that cheated on me once, and I put him away. I divorced him. Why? Why did I divorce my husband? And he was a good man otherwise, a real good man. He took care of home, he took care of me, he supported me in everything I did, but he cheated on me. The reason I put him away is I was raising children, and I could not afford to have him going out cheating and maybe bringing home a disease to infect or kill me and or my children. So as a mother, I was thinking more of my children than him. So I just couldn't tolerate that, and I did divorce him. So, but since I have a new marriage now, and the husband I have is trustworthy. I don't even worry about him cheating because it's not in his nature to do so. Um, and now that I'm not raising children and I'm as old as I am, maybe if he cheated, my current husband cheated, maybe I wouldn't put him away, but I would sure cut him off from my wifely duties, and that's for sure. I don't want to die. So I'm saying that to say you have to decide what's good for you. Now, if you live in a communal situation where men having a concubine is acceptable, you might just want to think about that, because in this day and age, if you're a young woman, nation building is important. And you can have to remember, a man can have 100 children, but a woman can only have so many children in her lifetime. But a man can have an uncounted, many, many children. So if you're in the process of nation building in your community or your commune, if you're living it with a group, you might want to sit down with your husband, and if that's what you both decide, you both have to decide and want that. I'm not telling you whether to accept it or not. That's up to you. But you should have some ground rules laid, and before you go into that sort of situation, find out, how the hierarchy is going to be set up, and do some very important ground rules for success of your family. Now, in this day and age, it might be practical to have for a man to have more than one wife, because the economy, just paying rent is difficult. One person can't really take care of a family anymore. And, that might be a situation you will consider. But you have to have very strict ground rules. With your husband, you guys sit down whether you're going to be um, involved in choosing the concubines and what the hierarchy is going to be, how he's going to conduct himself, and who's going to be, who sets the ground rules. It's just very important to do planning before you embark. I don't really subscribe to that, but if that's a situation you're in, I'm just saying make sure that the rules are clear before you encounter it. And I don't think I could subscribe or be in that kind of a situation, but in this day and age, whatever works, because it's very difficult to make ends meet. And I can understand it. It wouldn't be for me, but if that's a lifestyle for you, that's between you and your family. Um, it, and just because of a man's nature and because of the financial crisis that we face as a nation right now. And of course, we need to build our family. And as if you have young men, children, they grow up and they can also add to the family income. So it's just something that you should consider and talk about with your husband. And if you both agree, then I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But you just have to be prepared if you decide to embark on something like that. Now, as far as your man goes, and I really can't really give man advice to men, because I'm just talking to you young sisters. Before you marry a man, just make sure you know who you're marrying. Make sure that he respects you as an individual, and that can be over a test of time. Have a long engagement. Don't try to get married in 2 months. You know, at least a 1 year or more engagement, so you can really gauge who this man is and how he reacts to you, and make sure that you meet his family and know the dynamics of how he was raised and what his values are. And trust me, by meeting his family and talking to his parents, you're going to learn so much about who he is and his character and how he's going to treat you. Just be vigilant, pray, and that's my advice right now. All right. Peace and shalom.